Aloha, it's Robert Stehlik with Blue Planet Surf. Today's video is all about the retracting coil leash. It's an exclusive design by Blue Planet that's made for us by Oceanus in the US. It's a waist belt with a retracting leash. It's kind of like a dog leash that retracts into a plastic housing with a stainless steel coil inside. It comes out about 10 feet, so it's a pretty long leash. When the board gets fully pulled out, it gets slowly pulled back in by the leash and comes back to you slowly. And it always keeps some tension in the leash, so it's less likely to get wrapped around the foil or underneath your board and so on. When I first started foiling, I was mostly stand-up foiling and I was using a coil leash. First I tried a straight leash, but of course a straight leash, unless you use a really short one, which is very dangerous because if you get catapulted forward, the board can come back at you. You can really hurt yourself in your ribs. So using a short leash is definitely not recommended. Using a longer straight leash is kind of a drag because it drags behind you. It bounces on the water. Also, when you're sitting waiting for a wave, it can kind of drift under your foil and wrap itself around your foil or your fuselage. So I started using a waist leash with a coil on it. Either, first an ankle leash and then I tried a waist leash. And the waist leash definitely helps keep it off the water. But the disadvantage of these coils is that over time, this is a brand new one, so it has like nice tension. But over time, after it gets stretched out a few times by waves, it will lose its tension and then it starts flopping around and it drags in the water even more than a straight leash once it's stretched out. The other disadvantage is that when it gets really stretched out and comes back, it gets all tangled up and then you have it like pulling on you weird ways. And I just got frustrated with them and I had to change them out every few months because they got so worn out. So eventually I found this retracting coil leash from Oceanus. The first one I tried had a big loop on here, which is their standard one. And I put it on a dive belt, a rubber dive belt. I attach it to the board with a windsurfing uphaul. So that's another option. But we designed this especially for foiling. It's attached directly to the belt, so there's no flopping around. Once this is attached to your waist, it's very secure. It's still kind of bulky, but it doesn't move around much at all. So once you have it attached, it's quite secure. And then we designed this special shock cord for foiling and attaches with a stainless steel quick release hook. And then you got your board attached to you. So of course the wing leash, you can attach it to your wrist. What I've been doing lately is attaching the wing leash to the waist belt as well. So I slide the wing leash through the velcro, attach it to my waist. Now I got the wing and the board both attached to my waist. Very convenient. I got my hands free. Can walk with the wing dragging behind me or paddle on the board with the wing dragging behind me. Doesn't get in the way. The only thing is when I'm driving, I kind of have to bring my hands around the leash, but you get used to it. So this shock cord is great because when the leash fully pulls out, this one has a little bit of give. So when you hit the end of the line, this one will give you a little shock absorption so you don't suddenly get yanked by the board if it gets worked by a wave. There's a little tab at the end of it. So when you attach it to your board, you just put that tab through the leash string and then you go through the opening, just loop it on the leash string like that. And the reason for having this tab is when it's pulled tight after you get worked by a wave or something, it's easy to loosen it up by pulling on this tab and then you can get it off pretty easily. But most of the time I just leave this on the board. If you want to shorten it, you can just tie a couple knots into it. Like I like to tie like 1 or 2 knots just so it's a little bit shorter and less likely to get caught up between my feet. But you want it so it's when it's hanging from your waist, it's not pulling out the leash, but it's not too long either. So this is a pretty good length for if you're taller or you have a longer board, you might want to leave it full length. And this is so nice because you no longer have to worry about your coil leash getting tangled up or getting wrapped around your mast or your fuselage. And you got a lot more freedom. And then also if a wave pulls your board, this pulls all the way out about 10 feet. So your board is like 14 feet out and your wing is still pretty close to you. So it kind of puts some distance between the board and the wing when it gets worked in the wave. So there's a lot of advantages to using this. I usually like to keep it kind of either behind my back or a little bit to the side. Just don't want to have it in front of you. But as long as it's kind of to the side or behind me, it's perfect. And then after using it, just take it off. And what I do is I wash it out with some fresh water. You just shoot some fresh water right down the opening here. And make sure that you get all the salt out so it doesn't crust all inside. But the stainless steel coil and all the stainless steel parts are very corrosion resistant, saltwater resistant, so I haven't had any issues with mine. It's been about 2 years, and in the same time I probably would have used 10 of these coil leashes because they keep getting stretched out in the surf. Once they get stretched out a few times, the coil loses its tension, and then it's just flapping in the water when you're foiling, and I find that very annoying because foiling is so efficient that you don't want some extra drag to it. So check out our retracting waist leash on Amazon. It's on the Amazon Blue Planet store right now, only in the US, but soon it'll be available internationally on Amazon as well, in Europe, Japan, Australia, a few different marketplaces. And of course on our website at blueplanetsurf.com. We ship it worldwide. Right now this is exclusive with Blue Planet, made by Oceanus. So hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna get on the water. Talk to you soon. Aloha.